So season pass cards, aren't they kind of cool, right? Brand new cards, start the season, start some fresh new strategies and innovation. But then you got every other card coming out every week after and before that. This card is just so overpowered. I don't know how to even intro it other than that. It's been what, over 2 weeks now, and I feel like I played this, seen this card in almost every deck I played against, and I've damn sure played this in every deck I've had just because of how powerful it is. It goes without saying, the combination of cards that this one card encompasses is what makes it so busted. It just turns to just the overall package. Like, you could reduce the cost, you could reduce his power to -1, he would still be playable. You can make him 3/2, he'd still be playable. You see what I mean? Like, his effect, his package is just crazy. He combined Surge, Fastios, America Chavez. Like, he just has a mix of that with the way he synergizes with your hand. He's nuts. I'm baffled that this card was an end of turn effect and not like an activate effect or something of that nature. Even if you would have, like, make it -2 cost and +3 power, every turn this being activated starting on turn 2 is nuts. Now, currently that's a lot of hype for this card, but that's just because of the current landscape. As more cards are introduced into the game, there'll be ways to pretty much nullify this card, or its effects won't be that potent compared to newer cards coming out. As a matter of fact, I believe there's a new card coming out that actually steals an enemy activate effect, so you can actually have Mr. Fantastic used against you. Regardless of the fact, he's just very fun to play right now, just in regard to just how he synergizes and makes every deck so much faster with regard to increased power or reduced cost. He's not bulletproof. There are obviously lanes where if you have cards that are below cost 1, 2, and 3, you can't play it there. And Mr. Fantastic can lower your 4 and 5 cost cards down to where you can't play it in those lanes. Just a simple example where he's not useful in every situation, but he is just a great card overall in terms of just the utility he provides. And with that intro out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about this card, Mr. Fantastic. What up, what up, what up? This is Sly. Let me show you the builds that I'm rocking using this card. The main one I'm using right now, well, the main two are, first, my 3-star profile with Bully, just updating that to reflect Mr. Fantastic in it, just giving a lot of cards increased power, reduced cost, and just in terms of the changes I made from the last video. So going into just the main changes on missions, I traded out Galactica and Surge for Mr. Fantastic, as just looking at his effect, he's doing what both of those cards do separately. So this is again an example of how overpowered he is in regard to utility. Slot him in every deck. Anyway, continuing, I also added in Prodigy, but note that this is kind of a flex spot here because you can put in other cards as well, depending on the type of matchup you feel that you're going against, or just other cards you feel are more powerful. For example, the new cards, Human Torch, Fantastic Four First Steps is obviously a replacement. Armor. I wouldn't recommend Cosmo, but you could go there if you want to. Obviously, Luke Cage, things of that nature, but you just have a lot of flexibility because you already have power coming in from other places such as Brood, Captain Carter, Sebastian Shaw. Again, this card just has so much options for just going nuts on turns 5 and 6, and you have such a good early game setup if you get Mr. Fantastic out early. Easy explanation if I'm being honest. So moving on to the next build, which is a build focused on high evolutionary and just the end of turn effects in particular that Red Hulk and the Hulk bring out. And let me be clear, Cyclops is actually the boss monster for this deck because of how potent his -2 is to just creatures in that lane. Luke Cage is the only thing that really nullifies him, and you see that's about it. But other than that, this card is just lethal with regard to how efficient it is to just lower the attack power of even the cards I mentioned earlier, Human Torch, First Steps, and Sebastian Shaw. Cards like that get nullified real quick once he's in play. Misty Knight, Thaddeus Thunder Ross, pardon me, just to make sure to add the Hulks to the hand and just have their effects active every turn. And the new card, Fantastic card, giving all of the end of turn cards +2 power. pretty much is just a smorgasbord of plus power on top of plus power, stacking it up turn after turn. And if you can start off with Mr. Fantastic, bringing it back to him, it just makes it just so much more efficient. Getting your Hulks at 5 costs definitely saves you a lot of time, etc., things of that nature. So I'm having a lot of fun with this card, obviously, but it just dawns on me on how ignorant I am and forgetting that this fun is locked behind a minimum $9.99 paywall. And that's where it kind of stopped for me, I guess, in regards to just recommending the card. I mean, we've had cards in the past, such as Sam Wilson, Captain America, Galactica, when she was given +3 power to cards in the opposite lane of her. The season pass cards in the whole have been very effective and just potent, if not, I don't want to say overpowered. I feel like that's just a very thrown around term, but they're just potent cards that make a significant impact on the playstyle right off the rip. And this card, even though it's not the most powerful, the utility it provides, you can put it in every and any deck and it just makes it better. I can think of very few decks you wouldn't play this card in. Mr. Fantastic, Fantastic First Steps is absolutely OP right now in the meta. No doubt about it. Even as new cards are introduced, they're just going to make him even more powerful and important to play. Thinking about other titles such as Call of Duty, they cost $60 and then they have their season pass. It's $30 on top of that with their exclusive weapon and operator skins. You think about how that structural formula has been copied onto other games. Marvel Snap has a season pass now that's $10, and now there is an additional card that's locked behind another $9.99 paywall. You have the season pass card, and then you have for this month Mr. Fantastic card locked behind another paywall. So you just think about the avenues of opportunity the developers have to just put powerful cards behind these paywalls, and it really just awards the whales and the dolphins, just people that just will pay to play. I think in this age, the developers should have a way for players to earn a free, at least a base card for free. There really shouldn't be a reason why it's locked and the players have to wait a month or minimum for it to be released for them to gain access to it, for lack of a better term. It's just, don't get me wrong, there's another side of it as well where Kid Omega, the hype around him kind of died fast once he was out of rotation, and obviously you could play around him, and when he got released, people can pretty much pick him up for those token amounts. So at the end of that time duration, it's no big fuss or muss. But I'm saying that to say that players will find a way to work around that obstacle of exclusivity, whether they'll just counter those cards or just work around it altogether, especially with the fact that new cards are being introduced week after week anyway. I wouldn't say it's that big of a deal, but in the grand scheme, it's not, because of how many other cards are going to be introduced. My concern is the pattern, the month-to-month impact of premium cards locked behind paywalls, especially now that we're looking at 2 and possibly 2 going forward. The financial aspects, I feel like, is going to be very grating on the player base, just people struggling to keep up with that, especially just financially. The whales will have no problem with it, sure, but just looking at it from a practical standpoint, it's looking less consumer friendly. The fact that new cards are locked behind premium paywalls. The fact that for you to have fun, you more or less have to pay to have fun. It's not exactly pay to win, as the cards don't give you an automatic advantage. However, the potent effects provided do give you an advantage over just older cards that have been released before that. Players have had opportunity to play around and counter it, and this is a new card that people have less access to generally that provides an advantage. So it's pretty much touching the edge of pay to win, if I'm being honest, and it's kind of scummy when you think about how it's just still teetering and just getting closer and closer with each implementation or update that we have in Snap, regarding just the way they're monetizing it. This isn't a Debbie Downer type of video. Again, I'm having fun with the card, and I hope everyone else is as well. But just presenting this, it just had me thinking about it from that other end, and it's obvious that there's going to be some people that's on the short end of the stick, and yeah, that's not cool when you think about this game as a free-to-play game in terms of our card acquisition. There should be a better access or pathway for every player to get access to a base card. the variants and all that being more exclusive or locked beyond premium paywalls, that you can have your fun with, clearly. But yeah, those are my thoughts on it. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Appreciate y'all tuning in, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Cheers.